Welcome back to the Hood Table one more again to all my hoodies. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Hood Table if you're not already subscribed. Please and thank you very much. This is your girl Tanya with the Hood Table, and I am coming to you with an update on a very, very sad and tragic story that happened here in my hometown of Omaha, Nebraska. Now, just yesterday, you guys, I did do a video, and during the middle of that video, I stopped to take a moment to give my condolences to the family of a 1-year-old girl by the name of Ramaya Worthington, who passed away tragically yesterday. She was actually left inside of a daycare van for almost 6 hours during the time of the day when it was 113 degrees here in Omaha, Nebraska. Now, once they realized the 1-year-old baby was in the car or in the daycare van, the paramedics came out. They tried, resuscitating the baby because she was not, she was unconscious. Again, it was 113 degrees outside. They said her temperature was 109. They tried to do everything they could for this baby girl, and they took her to the hospital. Actually, she went to Nebraska Medical Center where she was declared dead, according to authorities. So yes, again, yesterday I had interrupted my live yesterday because I just wanted to give condolences to the family and the loved ones of this little girl, because our entire city is just, it's crazy here right now. It's an uproar. It's people protesting right now because this type of thing happens every year. Every year, not here every year, but just across the country. Every year, a child is left inside of a car, whether it's winter, extreme cold, or extreme heat. And I, for one, people can tell you, on my Facebook page, every summer, I am always saying the same thing. Make sure you get your kids out your car. Make sure you double check, triple check to get them kids out the vans, out the daycares, off the buses. Because I used to drive for a school bus company years ago. And one thing we were taught, I never had this problem happen to me, fortunately, but we were taught to always get out of the vehicle and walk through the vehicle, go seat by seat, row by row, looking over the seats, looking under the seats to make sure that you don't leave somebody's child on that bus. So, again, this is an update to the breaking news story that just happened yesterday. And right here, I'm going to show you a footage of our local news station who was covering this story. And they'll give you more details on what exactly is going on with this story. So here we go.
My baby did not come home. Her siblings did. She didn't. How did y'all forget her?
A mother grieves the loss of her 1-year-old daughter tonight as the state steps in and shuts down an Omaha daycare for now. Well, now the daycare's driver faces a felony that could put him in prison for decades. I'm Rob McCartney.
I'm Julie Cornell. Court records show the girl had a temperature of 109 degrees at the hospital. Her prosecutors think that she was in a van outside Kids of the Future for at least 5 hours on Monday.
A KATV News Watch 7 has team coverage tonight. Abby Peterson with response from the girl's parents and an Omaha doctor. First, Bill Shammer leads us off with the case against the driver. Bill?
Rob, Julie, sweltering and, as you can see, deadly heat. We looked up the feels-like temperatures outside for Monday. At 1:52, it was 115 degrees, so you can only imagine how hot it was inside for Ramaya Worthington. Officers were dispatched to Kids of the Future daycare near 50th and Leavenworth Monday afternoon. KAT investigates obtained the arrest affidavit, which shows the child was in the vehicle for about 5 hours and found unresponsive. They started CPR, but 1-year-old Ramaya died shortly after getting to the hospital. According to the document, Ramaya had a temperature of 109 degrees when she got to the hospital. Williams is now facing a felony charge. According to police, Williams said he had, quote, 9 children in his van when he arrived at the daycare and that he was distracted by a young boy who was not wanting to get out of the van and go inside. Williams told police he normally conducts a sweep of the van to make sure nobody is in it, but he did not do that on Monday. He said he found Ramaya when he went to start his afternoon route and, quote, was the only staff member in the vehicle and had made a mistake in forgetting the child in the van. 62-year-old Ryan Williams will be in Douglas County Court tomorrow at 9 a.m. We'll be there too. His charge, child abuse resulting in death, is classified as a 2A felony. That means if convicted, he could get up to a 20-year sentence.
So there you have it, you guys. That is the update on the breaking news story that I had reported on yesterday. Again, tragically, a 1-year-old little girl passed away. She was left inside of a daycare van at Kids of the Future. Now, from what I had heard, the guy who's driving the van, he claims that there was another child on the van who didn't want to get off the van and I guess was being disruptive. And so that van driver went inside the daycare and actually got assistance. And the other person working at the daycare came out to help the van driver get the other child into the daycare. And then I guess at that moment, that's when the driver said, I shut the door, I forgot about that other baby, and went on inside the daycare. So even though that child had 2 other siblings that came to daycare together with the 1-year-old, once inside the daycare for the next 5 to 6 hours, nobody noticed that this other child was missing, that the sibling's little sister was missing. Nobody noticed. And if they did notice, they didn't do any due diligence to make sure, okay, let's call the mom, let's see if the baby's sick, you know, what's going on, where's the other, ask the siblings, where's your little sister? I mean, this is still a developing story. So of course, more information is going to arise. And I am going to bring you all the update information that I can upon this story. But at this time, it's just so sad. And a lot of people are making Facebook posts. A lot of people are protesting the daycare. And people were up at the daycare. They had posters. They had signs. They were chanting and everything. Now, we do know that the daycare has been shut down. For how long? I do not know how long the daycare has been shut down. But let's take a look at this clip real quick.
How did they forget her? That's the question an Omaha mother has for the daycare and the worker accused of leaving her daughter in a hot van.
The 1-year-old died at the hospital Monday after she was found in the vehicle in more than 100 degrees heat today. Today, Ramiah Worthington's family held a protest at Kids of the Future 2 near 50th and Leavenworth.
They want the center to be shut down and justice for their little girl. KATV News Watch 7 Sean McKinnon spoke with her family.
The family and friends gathered here today, just feet from the spot where they say this daycare left their baby girl in a hot van for more than 5 hours. Protesting in the blistering heat today outside Kids of the Future 2 at 50th and Leavenworth. Monday, hot air again baked the van. Police say 1-year-old Ramiah Worthington was left in, where she was found not breathing. Her mother says a part of her is going to be gone forever.
My baby did not come home. Her siblings did. She didn't. How did y'all forget her?
Police arrested the van driver, 62-year-old Ryan Williams, for child abuse by neglect resulting in death. Reporting at 50th and Leavenworth, Sean McKinnon, KATV News Watch 7.
Again, you guys, that is more details on the tragic story negligence at the hands of the daycare driver. And I'm going to say the daycare as well. Because like I said, if they would have done more due diligence, they would have realized that there was another child out there in the car. And I'm going to go to some comments that I've seen on Facebook. Somebody had made a post. Because again, the entire city is in an uproar right now. A lot of people is just, why? Why did this have to happen? Why did this have to happen to this little girl? Why didn't nobody, go to make sure that all the kids were, removed from the van? Especially when it's this hot outside. I don't know how hot it is where y'all at. But again, today with the heat index, it was like 115 degrees outside. And yesterday, around the time that that little 1-year-old passed away, it was 113 degrees outside. So there's a post that I saw on Facebook, and it said for everyone involved, it was definitely an accident. I realized I actually know the person and the driver, or the owner of the daycare and the driver. They are not bad people, and they put "Lord have mercy!" exclamation point, exclamation point. Now, I didn't comment, but my feelings are basically mutual with a lot of people who did comment. And a lot of people were saying, yeah, it was an accident, but it's still neglect. It's still neglect. Some people were saying, I feel for everyone involved. It was truly an accident. Some people saying it could have been prevented. Let's not forget that part. What else people are saying? Let's see here. There's some more comments saying, somebody said this child lost her life and a mother lost her baby. Let's not confuse an accident for negligence. My sentiments exactly. Somebody else said, I don't believe anyone ever indicated that it wasn't an accident. Most people were simply implying it could have been prevented with proper protocol. I agree with that as well. Somebody else said, I'm sure there are decent people at that daycare, but at the end of the day, several people dropped the ball and failed this baby girl. Policies and procedures are in place for a reason. Somebody else said, peace only the Lord can give. And that is true. That is very true. Somebody else said, definitely was an accident, but one that caused the worst harm. I pray for all involved. It was a mistake that they couldn't afford to make. They needed a protocol to be followed to account for the kids. Nobody wanted that to ever happen. I would be devastated if it was my mistake. You guys, Ramaya is her name. Ramaya Worthington is her name. Her mother, her family, her siblings, our entire community are just devastated and heartbroken at what happened to this little girl. I cannot imagine the suffering that this child went through. From what it sounded like probably happened, along with the distraction of the other child, maybe that 1-year-old was probably sleeping. And I pray that the child was sleeping and probably slept through it all. Not literally slept through it all, but you know what I'm saying. Or either she didn't suffer that long, because in that amount, that high of a heat index, that high of a temperature inside a closed vehicle, you can't last that long. And when I stepped outside a few times yesterday to go to the grocery store, and I stepped out a few times today to visit a sick loved one in the hospital, and I mean, just walking from the car to the grocery store. I went to the dollar store today, just walking from the car to the dollar store, just walking from my car to the hospital where I went to visit my loved one. I was like, the first thing that crossed my mind was Ramaya. The second thing that crossed my mind was, how do people who live on the streets survive in this type of heat? And then my mind went back to Ramaya. Ramaya is her name. Ramaya is her name. Now, the last time we had an incident like this happen here was probably around 2013. But again, everywhere across the nation, this happens all the time. Too much. Maybe not all the time in one specific location, but too much across the board. Just too much. And there are so many protocols. And I have reached out, me personally, this just tears me up. And I reached out to some daycare providers, some child care center providers, learning center providers in my community. Because me, although every year, every summer, I advocate for this because I hear it happening across the United States like every year, every summer. And so I want to do like the hood table round table where we discuss like proper protocols, proper procedures, safety practices. Like today, one of the community leaders in our community, one of the advocates in our community, I'm sure she don't mind me saying her name, Precious. I was chit chatting with Precious on one of the chats on one of our local DJs. They do like a radio station, radio show. We got local, radio stations that represent our community. And they have like a live chat where you can talk, while you at work, you listening, and you can chat with the people in the chat. And I had brought it up, and I just like my condolences to, the family members of Ramaya, and we got to chit chatting about it a little bit, not too in detail because, it was a radio show and stuff. But Precious said one thing. She said, you know what, the hood table? When my child was younger, her child is older and in college, and she said when my child was younger, I always put my briefcase or my purse or both in the back seat to make sure I literally had to get out my car and walk around, open the back door, and I had to see my child. I have, and so she says to this day, I still practice that. I have no children in the back seat anymore, but I still practice that. And I said, that is a good practice. She still, to this day, even though her child is full grown, puts her briefcase, her purse, stuff like that in the back seat. So she's conditioned and trained. It's a routine to get out her car, walk to the back of the car, and check. She's really not checking for anything at this point, but she's just conditioned to do that. But that to me is a good practice. That is a good practice because not only do daycare or child care providers do this, grandparents have done this, parents have done this, siblings have done this. It happens. But one time is too many. And this little child did not have to die. This little baby did not have to die. I'm going to read something that somebody posted on Facebook. They said Ramaya is her name. I've never met Ramaya nor her parents, yet my heart truly hurts for her. I possibly slept 2 to 3 hours last night, trying to wrap my brain around this tragedy. My mom owned a daycare, so I'm familiar with the process. Yes, it was definitely an accident, but Ramaya suffered. I am a mom, so I can only imagine what her parents are enduring. It's gut-wrenching to know your infant suffered. Every year I create a post about this very thing, as do I. But this person goes on Facebook to say, children left in hot vehicles is what they post about every year. The thought torments my soul. I was all in their photos last night, trying to find a way to understand or wrap my mind around this. I hate that this happened to you, Ramaya. I'm so sorry. Pictures are worth 1,000,000 words. She came into this world such a happy, precious baby girl, full of joy and laughter, truly what one would consider a perfect bundle of joy. And again, that person said again, I'm so sorry that this happened to you, Ramaya. And on that note, you guys, there is a GoFundMe for Ramaya's family to help with burial expenses, medical expenses. I will be dropping that link in the description box of my video. I will also pin it to the top of the comments. So if you guys make comments, that'll be the first comments you'll see pinned to the top. So if anybody wants to donate, if this story moves you, if God touches you on whether it's $1, $5, $10, whatever. If you are moved to contribute to the GoFundMe, please do. Please do. And on that note, you guys, again, my condolences to Amaya. I will let you guys know, keep you posted about our roundtable on child care, daycare, protocols, safety measures, because I really want to do this. And some daycare and child care providers have reached out to me and said they are down. So we are trying to put that together, and we will have a live We will have a panel with some long-time daycare providers who have been doing this for quite some time. One of them will actually be one of the providers that kept my children when they were young. So, and I still love her to this day. Just the sweetest child care provider ever. But yes, on that note, you guys, please like, share, please share, please share. If you don't do anything else, please share this video, because this is something that we need to discuss. This might have been an accident, but it also was preventable. It also was preventable. If protocols were followed, this family would not be planning a funeral for their 1-year-old baby girl. Again, Ramaya is her name. Stay safe, be blessed, remain vigilant at all times, and always remember to keep it hood.